Joining us now is our go-to guy on all things geopolitics, following up from Scotty's report. John Jordan's a lawyer. He's also a former naval intelligence officer. Let's start with Kim Jong-un. Do you see Kim Jong-un giving in when it comes to nukes in any way?
The North Korean problem actually is about far more than Kim Jong-un. It's a Gordian knot that's been decades in the making by numerous administrations. Each of these administrations, whether it was Clinton, Bush, or Obama, they did two things. They refused to engage with North Korean leadership, and two, they did everything they could to relax sanctions, deliver foods, and let them off the hook economically. President Trump is trying the exact opposite. It's continuing to toe a hard line in terms of sanctions without relaxation and engaging them directly. This is not completely dissimilar from what President Reagan did with Gorbachev. President Reagan built a relationship with Gorbachev, but still held the line and held firm in the belief that the Soviet Union was, in fact, bad and an adversary. So it remains to be seen if this will work, but it couldn't be worse than what President Trump's predecessors have done.
But here's the problem, John. Here's the problem. And here's what we need to talk about. This guy's a one-trick pony, all right? It's not fair to compare him to the Soviet Union because the Soviet Union had something besides nukes, right? This guy has one thing and one thing only. And the moment he gets rid of his nukes in any way, shape, or form, he's probably dead the next day, a la Saddam Hussein and so many others who've been eliminated. So, I mean, he really has no other negotiating point. Why would he give it up?
Well, what he really wants to do is, I think, is he knows that his days are numbered if he doesn't revitalize the North Korean economy. I disagree that he doesn't need nukes to keep control over North Korea. The North Korean people are showing no signs of turning on him. You have all kinds of despots throughout the world that don't have nuclear weapons that keep control of their countries through fear, secret police, and the military. And Kim Jong-un is no different. He does feel he needs these, for whatever reason, as a bargaining chip. But keep in mind, he didn't start this. The nuclear weapons program in North Korea is 3 generations old. They are significantly invested in it. He also has to keep hardliners and various factions of the North Korean government happy. So he has to make this transition. He's in a tough spot, and I think and it remains to be seen how it's going to work out.
By the way, when I said that he needed to keep the nukes, I wasn't inferring that he needed to keep the nukes to stay safe from his own people. I'm saying he needs to keep the nukes to be able to have a bargaining chip against the United States. The moment he loses the nukes, we're making sure he's out of there. Whether we do it a la Nicolas Maduro or whether we do it a la, Saddam Hussein, we will get rid of that guy. It's not like you got rid of the nukes, now let's be friends, right? I mean, let's be serious. Which U.S. policy are we looking at here?
Well, I think you can reach some sort of accommodation and quid pro quo. All of these situations, there are some similarities, but they're also fundamentally different. The North Korean people, believe it or not, are very much in support of the regime. They believe in it. Whether they've been brainwashed or not is another discussion. But there isn't a policy of regime change. I think you can reach an accommodation and let the North Vietnamese people decide how well they've been served. But I think you can offer a meaningful carrot to him.
Well, because you know a lot about this stuff, and I always enjoy our conversations, I'm going to switch topics real quick and ask you about Vietnam. There are signs that some in the Trump administration are kind of trying to embrace Vietnam. Now, this is one heck of a country with a very successful mixed economy. What's the signal that we send to China during these very difficult trade talks while we deal with Vietnam?
A big message, Rick. Our ongoing trade disputes with China have had the ancillary effect of inducing a lot of companies to move their production factories and so forth to Southeast Asia, including Vietnam. Vietnam has been a huge beneficiary of this. Vietnam has lower production costs than China. And the longer this goes on, the more companies are induced to move to Vietnam. That's long-term damage to the Chinese economy because they won't be coming back to China.
John Jordan, smart guy. Thank you, sir. Look forward to talking to you again this week.
My pleasure, Rick.
I'm Rick Sanchez. You found us on YouTube, and that's awesome. But you know what? I'm also live every night at 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern on DirecTV and Dish and cable and satellite, the RT app, and Pluto TV. I'll see you there.